shows that like what like holding the standard and like having Adam and people in your corner to be like, hey man, like this is what we think. Like you can obviously go and do what you want, but like I think this is the best way to do it. And I think it's just crazy that he was willing to freaking
I think
there.
that's what was cool watching your team, and why I think that you guys hit standards so well is because you have Adam while Mac's going, while Tris is going, yelling at Mac to straighten his leg. Like it might be a close rep on those step ups, but he was making sure that like every rep that Mac did was going to be a rep when it was on video.
Yep.
And then even going back and watching Tris's video of the muscle up workout, he's like, those muscle ups are pretty close. It's like 2, 3 no reps that could be argued against. So redo the workout, and she redid it, did worse. And he's like, submit that one.
Yeah, because he thinks those reps were cleaner and better for the leaderboard.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Which is like crazy. I mean, we talked about it. I was like, if I hit quarters here in Boise without him, I think there's a good chance I could have got a major penalty in the box step-ups. And it's not because I would have been cheating. It's just that was a hard standard. And, like, you had to keep your eyes up, hips straight.
Yep.
Like,
there's a lot of things to balance.
And, like, when you're an athlete, and, like, especially me, it's like I'm not trying to do no reps, but I'm trying to go as fast as possible, and a lot of times that means riding the line of a no rep as close as you possibly can. Yep. It's like doing like pull-ups and the standards like chin over bar. Like why would you put your chin like 6 inches over the bar where you can do it like
chin hair right there, dog?
Yeah, just barely over because it's faster. And like that's how competitors do if you're trying to move fast. And I think that's just what happened. It wasn't like anybody was trying to cheat. They were just trying to go fast, thinking that they were holding the standard. And you go back and watch a video, and it was like Mac. Like in the moment when you're watching it and doing it, it looks fine. But you slow it down, you start watching, looking at the standard, and it's like, oh, that's actually really close.
Yeah.
You know, and I think just that happened to too many people, you know. And I could have 100% been one of those people if I wasn't there with Adam and him holding me to the standard. And it's been wild to see, because I think the sad part about it is that like if those people were in a live competition doing that workout and they had correct judges and they were like no rep, you wouldn't have just continued to do no reps. You would have gone a little bit slower to make sure that you were meeting the standard. But the deductions that people got were so significant that it completely dropped them out. When they were in the top 10 and you have to be in the top 40 to qualify, it dropped them to like 100th. And it's like, that wouldn't have happened if it was in a live competition with the correct judge. So it just, to me, like when I watch the video of those people, I'm like, to me, it doesn't look like they're cheating. It doesn't look like they're trying to do bad reps. It's just, they were trying to go fast. They were riding those line. I think you could argue a lot of the reps were good, but there's obviously the other side of the argument where you could argue they were bad, but it just sucks that was the thing that
separates people.
That separated them, completely not qualifying for semifinals.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them, not everybody, like deserves to be at quarters from their fitness level, you know? And like, I just don't think that the step over was a significant like indicator of fitness level.
The step up?
Yeah, or the step up. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the indicated like level of fitness for to dock someone to not qualify? It's like, just sucks. I think that was the step ups were the least significant part of that workout. Like the snatches were hard, the rowing was the majority of the workout, and then the step ups were just kind of like something that you had to be mentally tough enough to move through.
Yeah.
Which everyone was. It just it's just what
There's
happens.
a part of that I'm not even gonna like doo-doo on the judges, because like Nate Lauren judged yours, and Nate, the guy that went with me my first time going through it, I can't remember what his name was, but Nate was judging him. And like when you're judging a step up, you have to look at, first off, 2 feet on the box, second knees, then hips, then shoulders, then head. And it's like, if
that
all
happens like
happen
that
in a different sequence, it's really hard for a judge, even high level. Nate is a really, really good judge. It was hard for him to judge somebody. And it's like, where do you call a no rep? Where do you not? If you see these things and you miss that thing, it would have been a no rep. But then you look up to those things and you don't see this thing, then that would have been a no rep. But if you don't call either of them on video, you can see everything very easily. and to be extremely critical of a judge when it's like a standard that we all see written down and see it like depicted in the image, but the first time judges are judging a step up to that standard and that fast is, I'm not gonna doodle on anybody. It's hard to judge, period.
Dude, I think I could be wrong because anything that I say, I don't know if it's fact, but I'm pretty sure CrossFit Mayhem hired like CrossFit Games level judges.
Yeah, they had some like in the camps. They were in different camps, like
so like their
Proven
videos,
had
they
those
think like, hey,
judges.
we yeah,
Their AFJ or whatever they
yeah,
are.
like we don't have to worry about the standard because we have these judges. And I think Proven and Mayhem both had athletes that were in a qualifying spot. I think both of them were in the top 10 that completely dropped out, and now they're not going to semifinals. And they had CrossFit Games level judges, which is just like,
it's tough, bro.
mind-boggling. Like, I get deducting them and like take them from the first heat and make them like 35th, so they're in the last heat, which I do think is a significant disadvantage because the top score in the first heat is not even going to be remotely competitive to any score in the top in like the last heat.
Everybody gets to see you go,
dude. Almost like in heat 1. Like, everyone from Heat 2 beat Heats 1. Everyone from Heat 3 beats Heat 2. And everyone from Heat 4 beats Heat 3, relatively. So, like, to be in that first heat, you almost have all these other people that are going to be beating you. So, like, if you're in that last heat, like, you just got to push and grind and not worry about anywhere else. Whereas, like, if you're in that top heat, you know if you beat the people in your heat that your score is going to be relatively good.
Yeah.
Which is just, like, I think it's a big disadvantage. And
Hey,
anyways, what I'm getting at is I think a lot of fit people are not going to be at semis, which sucks.
The big dog Patty V said, "Y'all in Heat 1 better watch out, bro."
Nah, he just cheated, dude. He was just trying to cheat.
Nah, he said you guys better enjoy your. He said it was so hard.
I know, dude. I can't wait for like day 2 to come around and him be in Heat 3.
Well,
still.
that's what.
Like, how's it down there, Pat? Huh?
He said, you saw what he posted? When
Yeah.
He said, you guys enjoy day 1.
Yeah.
That was gangster.
It was gangster, but he's probably going to be in Heat 3 or something. He's
like
going to be in 11th freaking
Pat-
going into day 2. I'm going to be so happy.
He looks hella hard, you know what I mean, with his chest hair, and he's buff, and he's all fit, but then he's super nice, like in everything he posts. But he sounded gangster when he posted that. That was like some Mike
dude.
Tyson stuff. Box step-ups, typically you think, like, get 2 feet on top of the box, stand up. And that second leg coming up, bro, that knee getting locked out, you had to be dramatic, like,
yeah,
like you had to be, and the whole time before we went, it's crazy because like this is another testament to Adam and the team you guys got. Is like we saw Hopper and them go. Do we mess with Hopper? Do we like him? Yeah. Okay. Nah, I gotta check because last time I'm like, yeah, we don't mess with that dude. We don't mess with Hopper. Justin's like, nah, he's cool. I'm like, all right, we mess with Hopper. Nice to meet you, dog. And then later, Justin's like, bro, why'd you say nice to meet you, dog? So I gotta check in. Yeah, we kind of mess with Hopper. I gotta
keep people guessing, you know?
Yeah. But we watched them go, and they all had their boxes angled to the corner. Yeah. And it's just like they didn't say it had to be any certain way, so you think I'm good. Trista came in. And she's talking to Adam, and Trista starts doing box step-ups with the corner. She's like, oh, it's so much easier. I can go faster. Adam looks at him. He's like, yeah, those look good. Yeah, those are reps. And then he's sitting there for a second. Nah, we're not going to do that. Turn your box straight. Like, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah. Because there was a chance that like CrossFit could like deduct you for the uncommon movement clause. Exactly. Because like in competition, what competition are they going to let you turn your box sideways and do step-ups that way? Like, that's never going to happen.
It's not happening.
Yeah. At the end of the day, CrossFit should have just done box step-overs. I know that's probably what everyone's thinking. I just like, I can't believe they were that hard on the standard when they could have just done box step-overs and had no issues because it's really easy to meet that standard.
I know. But it's funny that it's like, yeah, you could have just done box step-overs. You don't gain anything by making sure people's heads are not looking down to see the box. It's like, now it's a rep. It's kind of crazy. And that's not to criticize anybody, bro. I'm not talking trash about nothing. I'm just saying it's a tough beat. It's like a hard beat for a lot of people. And my feels go out to them, man.
Yeah. No, I'll talk about like a hot topic, but everyone knows Hiller. like in the space and stuff, and like he's called me out, he's called everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the things that was interesting is I didn't get to see it, so I could be saying this wrong, but from what I understand, from what I heard, that he went out and judged an athlete, and that athlete ended up having a major penalty. They're still in a qualifying spot, thank God, but like I think it just goes to show, like, he's someone that advocates holding the standard. Like, he calls everyone out if people aren't holding the standard, and he obviously was judging, trying to make sure, like, his athlete was holding the right standard.
Yep.
And even though I think anybody would have said, hey, if you want anyone to make sure that you're doing the right standard, have Hiller watch you, because he'll call out anything.
Yeah, like he's not afraid to say,
Like he's
hey,
not
that's
afraid.
Not it,
he's not afraid to give a no rep. Yo, you're making this real good. And he still had his athlete have a major penalty, not just like no reps, but a major penalty, which is crazy. And like, this is not a knock on Hiller at all. Like, it happens, dude. I remember judging Marston on an open workout, and it was the one that I did. It was the 1 to 10 back down to 1 deadlifts and burpees, and I made him miss a round. Like, I just missed around, and he had a great score, and then they went back and watched, and I messed it up. Like, dude, I don't hate on judges ever, because their job is hard, and every time I'm at the games, I'm thanking my judge, because I know they have the most impossible job, because it's very rare that they get like, oh my God, look what that judge did. Like, if you're talking about a judge, you're pretty much talking about how bad they are. But anyways, that's just, after that happened with him, he was not making excuses, but like explaining why it happened, and which is like very legitimate. Like, I think anyone could make that mistake. I said I could have done that workout here, and probably I would have got major penalties if it wasn't for Adam.
Yep.
But like, he gives the explanation, like, I'm sure it was very understandable, but then when other people do that, like, every day, he like still will call them out and make fun of them for doing no reps. And it's like, I'm very pro athlete. Like, I want to support athletes. I think it's, in order to make our sport professional, you need more athletes doing CrossFit full time to be able to do this, and that, like, just means more sponsors, more eyes on the sport, people being more competitive. But I just wish that athletes got more of the benefit of the doubt, because I'm sure there are athletes out there that are trying to cheat, but I think the vast majority of athletes are trying to do the right thing, and they'll do workouts, and Hiller might make a video about them getting no reps or not holding the standard, and they don't even have a judge. They're just doing a workout on their own. Whereas like Hiller was watching someone looking for no reps, didn't give them any no reps, and CrossFit still said that they were no reps. Like, the standard's really hard to meet, and I doubt, like, I'm sure that you could watch my YouTube and watch some muscle ups or watch some thrusters that were like close to being locked out, and it wasn't like I'm trying to cheat, dude. I'm in here trying to get fitter, you know. But like, it just happens. No reps are handable, and that's why we have judges at the games. And I just want people to be more understanding of that, because it's freaking hard. It's hard being a judge, dude.
Yeah, even when you have judges, like, or even like if you have judges, it makes you kind of ride that line a little bit more, because you're trusting
You're relying
that the judge tells you if it's a rep or not. So you're like, I want to move as fast and quickly as I possibly can, efficiently. And so on a wall ball, I'm going to get as close as I can because it's faster.
Yeah.
And you're going to trust that your judge will tell you if it's a no rep. If it's a no rep, I know I need to go a little bit deeper, and that's the next reps.
No, that's a great point, because like, you're going to, like, you do Murph, right? And you're doing air squats. Like, you're going to start writing. Like, if your judge is not making you like pause at the top of each air squat, you're not going to pause at the top of each air squat. Like, you're going to try to move as fast as you possibly can. And like, you just inch towards that line. Your judge is like, hey, lock out a little bit more. You're like, all right, okay, well, not that fast then. And then like, you slow it down, back it off. Or if you get a no rep, then it's like, okay, that was too much. And you kind of flirt with that line. At least that's what I do.
That's what every athlete
does.
Air squats is probably the worst, because you can move so fast on air squats, but you have that tendency to either not pop on the top or not go all the way down. But people are moving so quick.
Dude,
how's the judges like?
And also, if you video anything and then slow it down in slow motion, there's so many things that probably look like no reps.
Put the angle to the angle that doesn't
the angle
work
of the camera.
Like,
yeah,
bro,
dude.
come on. It is hard, and it's not, like you said, it's not a knock to Hiller, because I bet he was gutted, bro. Like, I don't think that was his intention, to have an athlete put their trust in him
No,
to
dude.
ride that line and then have them get a major penalty or even a minor penalty. It's like you feel sick, bro. That would suck.
Yeah, dude, it would be. It's
That
like
would
the worst one, dude. I did it to Marston, and Marston's an athlete. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't compete in it for a living. It
Yeah.
wasn't trying to make
And you
semis,
felt bad.
and I felt terrible.
Yep.
I was like, how couldn't I freaking count to 10 and back? Like, I could not believe I did that. Like, I felt so bad. I felt like an idiot because it was obviously filmed on a Buttery Bros episode. Like,
And I'm pretty sure it was like the round of 9. It was like a high.
it was a high number, dude. Like, super significant, and I effed it, and he had to redo the workout and did so much worse.
He does 9, and instead of doing 10-9, you're
No,
just like,
and
okay,
you want to know something even worse about it?
Dang,
He's
bro.
like, isn't this like 9? I'm like, nope, it's 10. And he's like, and then he's like, okay. It kept like, he even told me about it, and I messed it up. So I've like, ever since that experience with Marston, I do not judge anybody that has anything importance because the job's so freaking hard because like, you want to hold the standard, but then sometimes holding the standard makes the athlete go slow. But then if you aren't hard about holding the standard, then they get a major penalty and you feel even worse.
And
like
the judges
it's like
feel bad, bro. They don't. The thing that's callous in those situations is to be like, it's the athlete's responsibility to make sure they do all the repetitions. It's not on the judge to count your reps. Blah 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 blah. Like that's not how it goes. There's a relationship between athlete and judge and athlete, and the job of the judge is to do the best they can in judging to the standard as far as they understand.
Yeah, and I've had judges that will come up to them like, hey, are you going to be able to count for me?
Yeah.
And like sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes, but like,
and then you say like, hey, could you count every 5? There's like a conversation that takes place and there's an understanding.
Yeah.
All those things happen, and still with what the movement was in an online competition, people can say, well, just do box step overs. They know that now. We can't even be mad at CrossFit because they're like, oh, damn.
Yeah, they make mistakes.
Like
they're
oh,
trying,
man.
dude. It's freaking hard.
Yeah, and sometimes like the athlete just doesn't have. It doesn't look like a no or it looks like a rep, but it is. Like Rebecca made that whole like video about how her gymnastic elbow, like she doesn't look like she's fully locked out. But like you have to talk to your judge ahead of time. Hey, this is what locked out looks like for me.
This is
so check out my elbow. This is what I got.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the conversation, the trust that happens with your judge.
I'm not trying to cheat. I'm not trying to not hold the standard. This arm straight, chin over bar, whatever the standard is, I'm doing my best to uphold it. And sometimes that line gets a little blurry. Sometimes that blur leads to some moments. I still don't have my scores validated or verified.
Any of them?
0. But
Yeah,
Masters,
I mean, I
don't
think it's-
there's
They
a
don't.
priority on Masters.
They don't care about masters.
They're not worried. They're like, Sam Dancer looks good, so we're just
Well, I
gonna
think
go
our
with that.
deadline is today.
Oh,
So
for real?
that's why they're trying to like push to get ours done. Where I think the Masters deadline's a little bit longer.
They're like
but,
masters athletes. They don't hit depth
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
They're all
But
sauced up
anyways, dude, we
anyway.
can talk about the leaderboard and standards and stuff forever because it's always a hard line. I think the thing that sucks, the last thing I'm going to say on it is, I know an athlete that was in the top 10. They gave her like a 200, like they gave her deduction, and instead of getting like 15th in the workout, she got like 200th in the workout. But then they're only reviewing people in the top 40 or 50.
Yeah, that's
So
tough.
then it's like if
That's
they
tough.
viewed every score from 50 to 200 where she got her deduction to, I bet you a lot of those would have been deducted, which would in turn brought her back up, which I think that's like the thing that's hard about giving someone that big of a penalty because, man, it sucks, dude. I mean, my biggest fear, I mean, this is what I do for a living, and if you're not, like for me, like if I don't make it to the games, I mean, even last year, I'll be honest, like I had that feeling is like I got third, I got first, and then I get 13th or whatever I got last year, and like your mind goes like, dude, do the sponsors want to work with me? Because if they don't want to work with me, then like I might have to go get another job to keep doing CrossFit, the thing I love, which is like what no one wants to do. I mean,
hey, let these sponsors not want to work with my boy. We'll have some words, all right?
But like it's a real thing that
boy?
people deal with, especially like the bubble athletes and people trying to make semis. It's freaking hard. A lot of those semifinal athletes are not full-time CrossFitters. They're people that have another job. And especially the games athletes, like you finally start making it to that point where like, okay, maybe I could justify quitting my job and just doing this. But it's rough. And even for me, it's like I'm making a decent amount of money. I mean, I'm so grateful for the people that I work with that they've supported me like like right when I was early, they like signed me for contracts that I didn't think that I deserved, and they're continuing to work with me even though I am still not at the top, which I'm so grateful for. But it's like, dude, if I get injured or something, like, yes, I made a lot of money, but also it's like I'm 25. It's not like this money's gonna make me last until I'm 50, 75 years old.
Put
So
that in Bitcoin, baby. Stop playing.
so for me, it's just like I'm trying to work as hard as I possibly can to set up a future for me, because I love doing CrossFit so much that this is what I want to do. This is what I want to make a living do. And this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So like, that's what I'm trying to do. And if you aren't competing at a high level and you don't have the eyes, and people don't think that you're cool, you're not going to get those sponsors, and you're not going to have the opportunity to do this. So for me, I think last year that was like the biggest realization, is like, I'm so grateful to be here and have all you guys that support me and like make me able to do what I'm able to do is just awesome. And I'm grateful every single day, every single year that I'm able to do this. And I'm not going to take any of it for granted, because I think that's kind of where I was in 2020 and 2021. Like, I was just so grateful to be here and doing this. And I think that's like, that was my New Year's resolution, is just like get back to doing that, stop stressing about all those things that I just talked about, and just work out, because that's what got me to where I am. And I think that's what's going to get me to where I want to be. So